All right. Yeah, thank you. I really agree with both your comments by and large. Um, that um, in my mind, I'm focused on the and at this point. I'm really trying to find a way to make both work because I think there's a lot of benefit to that, to both a healthy rivers type um, proposal as well as a regulatory backstop. I don't see how we have one without the other in the current environment that we're in. And I really appreciate this moment to just talk to my colleagues a little bit as well as to all of you, because we really don't have this opportunity ever. I mean, this is our public process. This is the only time that we're ever together to talk about Bay Delta issues is right here at the dais. And so it is really a unique and I think an important moment. Um, and my just for a little context, my background is in project management, and um, as a project manager, what I always paid the most attention to was the critical path, right? What is the critical path to make progress, to complete the project, to get something over the finish line? And so I've been trying to bring a little bit of that experience and thought to the process that we're all in right here together. And I would say this is a really gigantic project team. I mean, this is the biggest one I've ever been involved with, which is exciting and also daunting at the same time. And I would say um, some takeaways from that might be just that um, the state board can't do it alone. You know, we can't solve all and answer all of these questions by ourselves. This is why we're relying on public input here, and it's why we're also relying on the Healthy Rivers and Landscapes participants to help us understand and fill in the gaps that have questions that have come up that are unresolved. And I've heard the request loud and clear, which is, you know, project. Well, the only way we're going to do that when I'm looking at the critical path is to participate meaningfully in these discussions, provide substantive, real input and suggestions and comments, right, to help us answer these questions, and then do your parts as well. So there a lot of issues. I don't have to recap all the workshops that we've had that have focused on the voluntary agreements and some of the questions that have come up. But through those conversations, I've heard a lot of commitments and nodding of heads and acknowledgments that and a willingness to come back and flesh out some of the details. Whether it's flow accounting or board member Firestone listed off some. Um, the process for parties coming and potentially leaving, the participation. All of those details, they do matter, and they add up. They can add up and make a big difference. So I guess what I'm looking for, hopefully, here, I would love just some clarity in the near future from the Healthy Rivers participants about what we should expect. What's coming here in the foreseeable future in terms of any updates, revisions, considerations, work products. What else is there that we should expect, so that we can focus, funnel that into the process and our deliberation as we're getting. I'm sure thousands of public comments have already been submitted. There's another comment deadline here coming up on the workshop we had today on alternative 5A and 6A, and I heard a lot of really good input today as well. So, help us bring all this together, and so that ultimately we're looking for, I think, a stable understanding of the projects the options that we're considering. One being Healthy Rivers, one being unimpaired flow, or the staff proposal, and I guess the third being sort of how do you merge those two pretty different approaches together in a way that functionally works. And that's what I'm spending a lot of time thinking about and trying to untangle and really make sure it works. And today we heard that was a lot of the focus, honestly, is how do you make both of these options work together. Um, so I want to just add to that. To me, it's not. I don't want to put all of the onus on the Healthy Rivers proposal about meeting the mark. Board Member Firestone brought up a lot of good points there. For me, I have equally actually significant concerns with the staff proposal at this point and questions. that need to be resolved. And I'm excited that the first working group meeting is actually focused on that, and the second working group meeting, the one coming up next week, will be to talk about um, the range of unimpaired flows, because there were options out there. Uh, I've I've heard differing opinions on that, but when we're thinking about about a healthier rivers plus a regulatory backstop, I think it's really important to spend some time thinking about that regulatory backstop and what it would mean if there was a toggle, if a party left, if a party doesn't participate. For all the water right holders that aren't currently involved with the healthy rivers, what would that mean for them, right? When I think about 55% of unimpaired flow, um, I've seen some of the modeling and the water supply impacts. To me, they look really significant, especially in certain years, and that's concerning to me. And it's something that I don't want to just dismiss as being the default go-to, like this is the only answer. I feel like there's still some room for consideration um, of those choices on the regulatory side as well. So, unfortunately, this kind of critical path discussion about wanting to bring this all in for a landing doesn't help when we add and introduce more questions into the conversation. But this is such a monumental and important decision. I just wouldn't be comfortable knowing that we hadn't thought about that some more and really gotten some input from folks in terms of are we getting it right on the regulatory side as well. Um, and in that, I'm looking at the real world benefits that we might expect to see in terms of ecosystem improvements, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here. That's what we're trying to accomplish with the update to the Bay Delta Plan. Um, but we do have to balance that with the water supply constraints that we're seeing in the system and climate change and all of those factors as well. So I just wanted to throw those issues out there. And then the last point I wanted to just emphasize is that I've really appreciated the participation from tribes and their engagement through this process, the workshop day that we had, some of the comments that we heard this morning as well. And so I'm giving serious consideration to the tribal beneficial uses requests that we've heard. And I'm going to be looking closely at the comments that we've received and really taking all that in to consideration as we're thinking about the next steps and what the revised plan may look like. And that's all I really wanted to share at this point. But thank you.